Hi everyone, this is Mindy Eggen for Scrapbooking Cards Today magazine, and today I am creating a project using the Let's Stamp Together kit for September 2024 from LDRS. If you haven't had a chance to play with your kit, I'm going to walk through it with you real quick. So first we have the stamp set with that beautiful floral image and some other elements that you can use to decorate your card front, plus a beautiful sentiment. We have the inspiration card, a set of dies. There is also a coloring stencil, which if you know me, you know I love my coloring stencils. And then Scrapbooking Cards Today magazine also includes a magnet in there for you. So I am going to go ahead and put my magnets down on there to keep them in place. And I love the fact that these come already detabbed. Now, today's card project, I'm actually going to be casing myself. There was a card I created back in September. I loved the color combination and the style of the card, and I really wanted to do that today. So I dug out my swatch book, which I find very helpful. I keep it in a 6x8 binder from scrapbook.com. And I just went through and I was trying to find colors in the Alt New line that matched the colors that I had used in my previous card. So the first thing I did was take a piece of white cardstock cut to 4¼ by 5½. I placed it in the center of my stamp wheel 2.0, and it does have a sticky mat, so my cardstock is stuck to that sticky mat. I'm bringing in a masking stencil. This is the Rectangles masking stencil from Tailored Expressions. It has some etched lines on it for various sizes of cardstock, so I just lined up those etched lines with the edge of my cardstock, and that's placing that centerpiece directly in the center of my cardstock, so no measuring needed. I'm starting in the center with my lightest color, and this is Golden Honeycomb from Alt New, and I'm using a blending brush from Pink Fresh Studio. These are super fluffy and super soft, which makes it really easy to lightly apply color. I typically am a heavy hand blender, and this helps me kind of pull that back a little bit. Now, if I want more ink, I can just come in with some more ink to darken it up. Now I came in at the top with a Rubelite. I started off the cardstock and work my way on and blend it into that golden honeycomb. And then I'm going to come in at the bottom with a Volcano Lake. Again, I'm starting off the cardstock, so mainly on the stencil, and I'm going to blend up onto my cardstock and into that golden honeycomb just a little bit. And I have a beautiful transition of color, and I think it's a very unique color combination. Then I'm taking that large floral stamp from the stamp set in your kit and I'm placing it so some of it is hanging off of the edge of that stencil and some of it is in that colored block. Then I'm going to take my plate, my top piece of my stamp wheel, and pick that stamp up. Now, one thing to note is that always with my top plate, there is on this one a little circular hole down at the bottom. I always keep that down in the center. You'll notice it now once I'm saying it, is it helps me keep things lined up perfectly. So I am inking up this image with the Alt New Obsidian ink. Now to stamp this with the stencil still in place, you kind of got to put a little muscle into it. You're going to see me give it a little CPR because I really needed to get right to the edge of that stencil. And stencils can sometimes kind of give a lift that you really want to get your stamp image lined up perfectly with the edge. So once I pull this away, you can see we don't have anything stamped around that border. We have a beautiful margin of white space and then the black outlines of the flower. I'm also pulling in a sentiment that's going to go on the top. Now at this point, I have removed that stencil. Again, you're going to see that I have that circular hole from the top plate down in the bottom center. So everything is always lined up perfectly. Now I'm picking up the sentiment and that little butterfly with my top plate. And I'm rubbing my hand over it because I haven't used these yet. So I want to make sure it is nice and conditioned and will take ink better. Again, I'm inking that up with the Obsidian ink. Now this ink does stay wet for just a little bit longer, so you can either heat set it with a heat tool or just give it a little bit of time to dry. Otherwise, you may smear it. This is such a simple card design, but I think it is very effective. You're getting that centerpiece, a beautiful white margin of space, and we have everything stamped in black, so it's nice and bold. And just think of all the different ink color combinations that you could do with this. So I did peel that off of the sticky mat, And I'm going to attach this to a side folding card base. So I created that with some heavy cardstock. I'm adding a Gina K Designs tape runner around the edge, and then I'm going to place my panel over the top. And I am being very careful not to touch my inked up areas because I'm pretty sure it's still wet. So I'm just going to gently tap that down to secure it in place. So right now it is a very clean and simple card. It is a one layer card, but I just had to bring in some gems. So these are some clear quartz sequins from Gina K Designs that I placed around the sentiment. I like to use a little pinch bowl of sorts to place my sequins in while I'm arranging, and then I can just dump it back into my container. So I attached those with my pick and stick tool and liquid glue, and my card is complete. So this is just another way that you can use your stamp images. I normally do something like this with more silhouette type of stamps, but it also works really well for these outline stamps. I hope you enjoyed today's inspiration and can't wait to see what you create. Thanks so much for joining.